Hello and welcome. This game wasn't actually going to be one I was planning on doing. However, a friend of mine said my channel was a bit boring, so I thought, well, let's do a game that is a bit more action-filled. And this one's actually a favourite of mine. I love the Dragon Age series, both this and the second one. So I thought this would be a good one to do. Now, the choices in this game are going to be made by the friend who recommended doing it. I thought that would be fun to do because I don't know, see how different his playstyle is to what I would normally do. However, looking down the choices he's actually made, I'm not sure how much different this is going to be from one of my traditional playthroughs. But we shall see. Okay, so let's just start with the introduction. And we're going to play Dragon Age Origins. This game comes with 7 DLC, downloadable content. All of which I have. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing all of the added campaigns. I'm definitely going to do any DLC that's actually incorporated in the base game, and I am going to do Awakening and Witch Hunt, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do Liliana's Song or if I'm going to do Darkspawn Chronicles. Well, I'm not. Also, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the Golem one either. But anything that's part of this game or Awakening or has a bearing on it in any way, I'm actually going to do. So, let's start with the introduction. Yeah, the loading screens can be a bit long in this game, so I apologise if we sit here just watching it load. Oh, come on. What should be the day it's not cooperating? Finally. And so is the golden city blackened. With each step you take in my hall, marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven, and doom upon all the world.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Thus, that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. Maker, help us all to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Okay, and that was the introduction. I gave you a little bit of background on the mythos of the game. So, character generation. Now, for this run through, I'm going to be playing a female character. To be honest, it doesn't really matter whether you play male or female. It does affect some of the romance options if you want to play around with that. There are some characters that won't, you can't instigate a romantic relationship with if you're one or the other. That's the only effect that being male or female has in this game. Now, next is race. Now there are 3 races in this game. Human, who are bog standard humans, live in cities, split up their land in countries, kings, queens, the like, pretty fairly bog standard humans. Next you have the elves. They are a race of immortals who have lost their immortality because of their enslavement to man. Along with the loss of their immortality, they have also lost much of their culture. They now, for the most part, live in alierages or slums in human cities. However, there are tribes of elves calling themselves the Dalish who try and hold on to any parts of their culture they can. Next, last but not least, is the dwarves. The dwarves live predominantly underground and are arranged in a caste system. To be casteless is to be the lowest of the low. They were the first of the they were the first people to encounter the Darkspawn, because the Darkspawn tend to come from underground. Now, in this playthrough I'm going to play dwarf. Sorry, no, I'm not. I'm playing an elf. And then we've got class. Again, you've got the fairly typical standard options. You have the warrior class, or which is your tanking class. You have your mage class, which doubles up as your healing class. Religion has no mystical beneficial effects in this game, so all your healing comes through magic. And the last but not least, you have the rogue, which encompasses pretty much every kind of dexterity based class. Thief, rogue, ranger, anything like that falls under the character of rogue, and that's the character I'm going to play today. And last but not least, you have your backgrounds. Now your background determines the start of the game, how it starts, and it also determines how people interact with you as you go around. So we have two options as an elf. We have the option to be a city elf, who you come from the slums and something happens and you have to leave in a hurry. Or you can play the Dalish, which is the one I'm going to pick, where you come into contact with a relic of your people's past, but it that causes the effect of having to leave everything you've known. So, next. We've got that sorted up. I'm just going to keep the face as it is. It's fine. I'm just going to make sure I've got the right voice. Some of them actually really annoy me, so I'm just going to make sure I get the right voice.
Greetings.
Right. And then I'm just going to change the name. Okay. Now, here you have a choice of just quick playing, where the game will sort your stats, attributes and the like randomly to the most appropriate level in your class. I'm going to go and do it manually, because I much prefer that. Okay, first point is attributes. They're like it's fairly standard: strength, dex, willpower, magic, cunning, constitution. Anyone that's played any form of role-play game will recognise these stats. So I'm planning on actually playing an archer class, so I'm going to have a couple of points in dexterity. As a rogue, a couple of points in cunning is always good, and a point in constitution, because health points is always a good thing. Okay, next we have your skills, which tend to be passive and non-combat skills. You have coercion, which is persuasion, stealing, trap making, survival, herbalism, poison making. Combat training increases your damage and gives you access to certain talents. And combat tactics gives you increased tactic slots, which we will go into in future videos when I actually have some reference points. Okay, for this one, because it unlocks the first tier of the skills I need, I'm going to have that. Okay, and last but not least, we have talents. These tend to be your combat skills, or your active skills like deft hands or lockpicking, as otherwise known as stealth. They're traditionally combat orientated. So for this particular one, I'm going to go and have a point in deft hands, because you never know when that lockbox that you need comes in handy. And like I said, I'm planning on being an archer character, so just going down to the archery, and I'm going to pick melee archer, because I don't want to keep getting interrupted when I'm being attacked. Okay, so that's character generation done. Now, I'm going to leave the video here because there's a little interactive cutscene which would be quite problematic if I had to cut it halfway through, because it would ruin the flow. So, ta-ta for now. See you in the next video.